Hello everyone, The Nerdy Steve here, and today we will be featuring a Bard class deck in Alchemy. A link to the list is in the description below. I'm going to talk about the general game plan, some of the card choices, and a little bit about the sideboard, and then we'll play a couple of matches. So, let's go. First, I want to thank Shababa for submitting this deck to me on stream yesterday. So the namesake of the deck is Bard class, which is an enchantment class from Adventures from Forgotten Realm, and it is a 2-mana enchantment that reads, legendary creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on them. For level 2, for 2 more mana, it makes all your legendary spells cost 1 red and 1 green less. And then for 5 mana, whenever you cast a legendary spell, exile the top 2 cards of your library, and you may play those cards this turn. So this deck really leverages the cost reduction of Bard class. It is filled with legendary Gruul creatures that are red or green or both. So after you get to level 2, everything becomes really cheap. And once you get to level 3, you start then cascading into a lot of powerful spells every single turn. Now, what the new Baldur's Gate Alchemy brought to this were a couple of cards. First, and I think maybe most importantly, is that A-Minsc Timeless Hero costs 3 mana after you activate Bard class, and so it's a really effective and efficient way to cast this card. It being able to come out a turn earlier on turn 4 is just, it's really powerful and is a recurring big threat every single turn, and in a format where Alchemy's kind of right now very mid-rangey, and so being able to create a 4/4 haste that can trade with your opponent's things every turn, or becomes a 7/7 if your opponent doesn't deal with it, it's just a lot very quickly. And I think this is really a card that kind of cements this deck as a really big contender. But we didn't just get A-Minsc. We got, this deck is also playing Ambergris and Lukamina and Wilson, Bear Comrade, and Jaheira. So it got a lot of really cheap Gruul legendaries, and so that's what makes the deck like suddenly have a life again. Now it's been kind of combo oriented, and we did always have Targnar, but Targnar always felt really bad, which is just a 2/2 creature that got a little big. But the versatility and the power of Jaheira and Wilson add just makes this deck feel much more consistent. So what, now these are specialized creatures, but we only need to look at the red and green specialized part for all of these. So Jaheira can specialize and destroy an artifact or enchantment and gain you life or pump up a creature in the process. And this is important because Alchemy is kind of filled with a lot of decks with casual enchantments and artifacts lying around. Like, we even have Bard class, right? But there's the recently nerfed Meat Hook Massacre. There are a lot of rune decks still. So being able to interact with artifacts and enchantments kind of like for free is really powerful. Then we have Wilson, which is a 2/2 reach trample ward creature. So that by itself is really powerful. And then it can specialize into a big trampler or something with double strike. And what is important too is that Wilson has trample, so it can be pumped with A-Minsc first ability, which is, again, we want to note that because I'm going to circle back to Halana and Alena partners. This is another 4 of in this deck, and the reason why Halana and Alena are very powerful is, so at the beginning of your combat on your turn, you put X +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control, where X is Halana and Alena's power, right? So if you have Bard class, right, Halana and Alena enter the battlefield as a 3/4. So if you have Alena out, now all your creatures are getting +3/+3 counters. Not just until end of turn, counters, and they're able to attack the turn they enter the battlefield. So Halana and Alena can really just increase your clock so much, and it's so much power out of nowhere. And it's really, really, really powerful in this deck. And with Wilson, if you ever get the red one and can double strike it, it's just really, really, really powerful. And Ambergris and Citadel Agent has it specialized. You either what? You put counters on another creature, or you deal damage to your opponent, and that's not necessarily the most relevant part in this. Like, it does stuff, but being able to... One of the ways this Bard class deck loses is after you empty out your hand, you've exiled a bunch of cards with Bard class, but you don't have anything, and you're top decking, right? Because you exiled like 10 cards, but you can't cast them all. So when you go to attack with Ambergris, you get to draw 2 new cards, right? And that's just a way to reliably have stuff in your hand to do. And so that's just very, very important. And really, really makes the deck a lot more consistent than it's been. Ambergris is also a dwarf to combine with Magda, so you can get treasures too. And this deck is a very, very mana heavy deck. And so you can use your treasures for anything you want. And then again, we have just a bunch of other red and green legendary creatures. Nothing too special there. But basically, you want to Bard class, level it up all the way when you can, and just cast a bunch of things and overwhelm your opponent. And with the sideboard, again, we have basically more... We have You Line Up the Shot, which is more interacting for your opponent's creatures. And if they're a dragon deck, you can always plummet stuff. We have more Jaheira for artifacts enchantment. Wilson if you need a creature that's resilient against a heavy removal. Snakeskin Vale and Molten Impact. Vale is for, again, removal heavy decks. Molten Impact when you need to interact with your opponent's thing. This deck can sometimes, specifically against decks with Invoke Despair, decks that can board wipe you or destroy your Bard class, it can sometimes make us... This deck's power is when you get to go off and you get to cast a lot of things in turn and everything gets really, really powerful. And if your opponent is kind of one-for-oneing you and doesn't ever allow you to, build up a board and build your combo, it's very easy for you to lose. So sometimes you just need Snakeskin Veil to protect your creatures, like Halana Alena to make sure your cards are big threats. Or if your opponent is playing a deck that, the Esper Connive decks where they have a lot of removal, sometimes you just need to kill a Rafine or the 3/4 Diviner card or, anything so that you can actually attack in and you can stop your opponent's card advantage before it overwhelms you, right? If that makes any sense. I may have lost the point there, but I hope Molten Impact is good against decks that interact with you and you need to kill their creatures. There we go. And with that, let's hopefully make it a little more clear and play some more matches. Our opponent is Buzzed Lightyear, everyone. And so this hand, we don't have Bard class, and maybe we should mulligan to Bard class, potentially. However, I don't want to mulligan. And I think going Wilson into Halana is going to be really good. Wilson is just a really, really powerful card. And if we can get it to be a 4/4 and start attacking with it, maybe we can, do something. Alright, do you know what? I want... Maybe we shouldn't Magda here, but I like Magda because it allows for us to double spell next turn. Diviner Fates. Ouch. Okay. Now this is not particularly good because, again, we have nothing going on, right? Vanishing Verse. Ward 2. Ouch. So our opponent made a mistake there. Sorry. And do you know what? That's okay. Sometimes people make mistakes, and we get to be okay with that. Ravine. Okay. No blocks. So the red one deals damage to our opponent, and the green one does what? Oh, interesting. So if we... Amber, and then specialize to the green one, we can make our future Halana triggers really, really powerful. Yeah, GG. Alright. We didn't even need Bard class for that one. And that's part of what... Again, our opponent messed up with some removal, but part of the power of this deck is we... was it Baldur's Gate just gave us so many powerful, cheap, green and red legends and planeswalkers, right? So it just is so good now. It really, really is. You don't need the Bard class when your creatures are just absurdly powerful. Though it does help. I think we do... Do I want more Wilson? I'm trying to figure out... Like, sideboarding is always so difficult here. I think we can get rid of Targnar. I think maybe we want the Snakeskin Veil. So I kind of want the ward things. Maybe Lukamina. And probably get rid of Jaheira. Maybe this is okay. Maybe Strangle also isn't that particularly wonderful because Rafine and the Diviner get 4 toughness right away. Varis isn't particularly wonderful here, but it does have Ward, which, if we can make our opponent's removal just a little less effective or efficient, then we're okay. And then we do have the Molten Impact. I can't imagine our opponent doing anything that we'd want to Molten Impact here, but it is an option. White-black. Plunder. Let's get rid of a land. And our opponent can get another card that I'm not... A random card from our deck can't be that good for them. I mean, maybe it is. A land would probably be decent. So I think I want to Molten Impact this now. Or maybe it's just... Huh. This is perfect for an opponent to have literally any removal, and pay the ward cost, so maybe that's not the correct play and we're just supposed to Molten Impact. Oh, Tasha.
Fight fair. Don't try anything cheeky now.
Alright, we can get that done. We'll deal 2 to Tasha here.
I hope you washed your hands first. Beware. I know some
And now...
magic.
Interesting. Void Rend. Okay. No blocks. A-Minsc and Boo. We get our treasure.
I've got one butt-kicking foot, so everyone format bigger is always better.
That triggers Tasha, but we kill Tasha, right? A-Minsc and Boo is still gonna live unless our opponent has something to pump up the Diviner or deal extra damage, so we're in a good spot here. And we still have the Molten Impact. Oh, well. Oh, wow. Ambergris and Diviner of Fates working in tandem. And our opponent can get the blue one. Or the black one. That's so cool. Okay. Well, rip. Bye, A-Minsc and Boo. Target creature gets minus X, for X the number of cards you've discarded this turn. I'm very upset that this is what's happened.
I don't like defeat. It's like eating troll ears.
I think we need to kill that. Because we don't want them looting away. Nine, that's fine. So this can become a 5/5 reach trampler. Red. Let's scry. Do not need that. I guess we can attack here. If our opponent has the Wandering Emperor, we can Snakeskin Veil the Wilson, right?
Anyone who harms my people must contend with me.
Which our opponent did, and we will do. And we get to kill the Wandering Emperor with the leftover damage. So that was perfect. Then we get to Varis, which will be untapped. We get a wolf, and we draw a card. Okay. Well, the Wandering Emperor, no!
I am the Emperor of Kamigawa, and I will protect my people. You are not much of a roadblock.
So 1, 2... And this will be for 4. We'll attack there.
I guess that's
And then say go. Keeping the lands in my hand in case I need to specialize. Part of me, we could have also done the land to Magda. Oh, wow. Kalim with Diviner of Fates. Oh, that's a problem. Because now our opponent, oh, it basically finds itself too. Fudge. No blocks. Oh, that's so brutal. I mean, that is something. Don't know if it's gonna be good enough yet. Alright, yeah, no. Our opponent will discard a card and draw 3 cards. And we know, yeah, no, that's bad. Alright, that went very, very poorly at first, I think. No, I don't know. We were very, very close. And now we have to mulligan. Okay. Let's get rid of Minsk and Boo. And hope Magda can do work here. Dang. Green? Nope. Wilson! Let's go. Dang. That's so good. And then go. We're doing this because we need to make sure we get all of our land drops. But with this, Diviner of Fates is going to be so hard for us to deal with. So we do this. Sadly, nothing. Really. Dancing Verse, yep. If we activate double strike and reach? No. Let's do that. For 5. Please don't have anything for Goro-Goro. A counterspell. Okay. Still ward 2. So if we... When that specializes into white... So we can kill the Diviner of Fates. And now... 4... So if our opponent specializes it and then gives it +1/+1 from the Wandering Emperor, we're dead? Okay. But we still get to use the Den of the Bugbear next turn. Specialize. Yeah, the blue. So I'm assuming our opponent didn't have a black card to specialize. I think. So is this GG? GG. Oh my god. Alright, Chrono, if that is your real name, let's go. Oh, alright. I was just gonna say, we didn't get to do anything with Bard class last game. And look what we drew. Do we keep? I'm gonna keep for the content. I wouldn't keep if I were you, but I really need to make Bard class do something. So... But don't try this at home, okay? Oh no. What is our... Oh, we got it. Never punished. Now we just need to draw legendary creatures. Fearsome Wealth? Uh-oh. Alright. We just need a legendary creature, and then we can start bard classing it up. Will we, though? Who knows? Here's some wealth. Uh-oh. We're gonna wait until next turn so we can actually start casting stuff. If we did that this turn, we would have exiled 2 cards and not be able to cast anything. So at least with this, now our Varis will see 2 cards, and maybe we want to do it again. Alright, yeah, no, we're fine here. There we go. Strangle that. Oh, we probably could have given everything haste and won that turn. Maybe. But who's really keeping track of that? Okay. So let's do this. No idea what our opponent has. Saw it coming, opponent. Why would you be so mean to me? GG. Okay, no idea what really our opponent is doing. Seems like you line up the shot might be okay against them. So I'll get 2, but I'm not really sure. Mainly because they're dragons. Or we just win, and that's okay. Alright. Okay, we get a second turn bard class. What more can we ask for, honestly? A third land would probably help. But, you know. I'm not gonna complain too much. It looks like our opponent is on some type of ramp strategy or mono green strategy. Let's do that and that. So these are big creatures now. And it also means we get to Esika into Minsk and Boo. Alright, our opponent went to get a land. I don't see our opponent doing really anything that's gonna stop us here.
Come on, Boo! We're off on another thrilling adventure. Bigger is always better.
Here, let's do that and we can get rid of our hand. Our opponent can chump there. But we're in such a good spot. That I would find it really hard for us to lose. Because Minsk and Boot will also make something an 8/8 next turn. Yeah, that was really good. I think we want maybe more powerful removal. I didn't see anything that we'd want Jaheira for. And Lukamina can come out. Again, we have Bard class, which is why we were playing this deck. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have interaction or removal. We wait. Red. When we get to, let's scry. I don't mind making all of our land drops with Bard class. And it can come into play untapped, right? Oh, our opponent mulliganed. Oh, that also ramped. So I think... yeah, let's do green. Untap. Bard class. The problem is, right now we're not very cool. We don't have a lot going on. So our opponents just gets to do their own thing. Draft a card from the spellbook. Okay. Alright, James, whatever you're doing, I'm all here for it. Do that. We can do Wilson and Tognar. We have big, beefy creatures now. And next turn we can Esika. Into 1/2. That's only 4 mana, so we can't activate Bard class again. Interesting. Now, pay 3 life. Esika. Into Varis. Into Amber. Don't need that. Let's have Amber attack and we get to discard our hand. Beautiful. And now next turn we can Bard class and Amber. Our opponent's deck is cool, but I don't think it is particularly good right now. Our opponent had like the Circle of Dreams Druid and able to just keep on casting Ominous Traveler and whatever it finds over and over again. That could be something. That'd be cool. Do this. And now we're off. Create a treasure token. Well, we didn't mean to. I guess we meant to use our treasure, but oh, look, we only got lands. The good thing here is we can always specialize the Wilson next turn to get to become red and double strike. It'll be a really, really big, beefy double striker. Sadly, oh, is this a Tamiyo safekeeping? I was like, sadly, this isn't going to work out for our opponent how they think it will. I was wrong. Okay. A-Minsc and Boo. GG. Thank you for watching me play some Bard class in Alchemy. This deck is really, really great. Bard class is just such a fun, combo-y, weird card, and so I recommend playing if you have the wild cards to do it. However, in addition to it to being fun, I think there is a way for this deck to be really, really good and really, really competitive. Decks, it's a Bard class deck, right? But in addition to that, it's also a very aggressive Gruul deck where you can win out of literally nowhere with, Halana and Alena. Halana and Alena and Minsc and Boo can just create really big threats when your opponent is kind of just dirtling around. And so it has really two venues to attack your opponent. And if your opponent's removal or first couple plays line up incorrectly, they are prepared, or they're not prepared to go against the game plan that you have. And that's always exciting. And I do think there are ways to maybe, change it up and make things maybe a little better. I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of Lukamina here. And I think maybe you can potentially have more Wilsons in the main deck and remove Jaheiras because you might not need to destroy stuff game one. And I think there are a lot of different ways you can, change up things to really, really hone in on it, on the game plan, and make it a very, very good, tighter deck. But I don't know. Let me know if you have any ideas for this deck. And as always, if you like what you're watching, you should totally like, comment, or subscribe. This deck was literally suggested to me by someone who watches on my Twitch at twitch.tv/thenerdysteve. And there are other comments and other videos of people who want to see either best of 3 or best of 1 in different decks. So if you have anything you would like to see on this channel, I'm always looking forward to suggestions. So do that. But with that being said, I hope you're having a wonderful, lovely morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. Thanks for watching. Bye.